So will this be our shortest ever podcast?
It might be, but I don't know. It depends.
Okay, welcome to today's episode of the Intranet Insights podcast. So today we're going to be talking about something I'm really passionate about because it's just a simple story, but it shows our approach, how to build and optimize and engage with an audience around intranets and internal comms. It's a different way from my lens of not having a tech lens, but having a people lens. Looking at previous tech approaches from an external perspective, it's a different approach than I've seen. And we hear a lot of businesses saying about, yes, previously we've done a project, whereas we actually partner with a company and grow and scale. I think this story really epitomizes that, to be agile, to listen, to get feedback loops. And I think and Craig's going to jump in a second, from a non-technical perspective, I'm really excited about the opportunities to see what's required, adapt and change, rather than having a done to you process. It's done alongside you. So Craig,
exactly.
Jump in.
Put 10p in Craig. Go. So I love this this analogy, and I've used this for years, and I know it's a good one because people steal it.
I'm putting my hand up there. I'm talking about this.
I think it just helps. In our world, and it can be a very techy world, very businessy world. There's a lot of jargon that goes on, and I just rip all that out, and I just like to explain things very black and white and simply. And I think this story kind of gets it across, the approach, what we're trying to do here. So the title of this podcast being, build your intranet with a skateboard. What
clickbait.
Yeah, why have you even clicked on that? That's what I'm about. So imagine you day one, you're sitting down in your organisation and you're asking the question of, we want an intranet. And you kind of understand why you need an intranet. I mean, if you don't, go and check out our podcast of why you need an intranet and values. I could be like a radio presenter. I'm getting right.
Getting there.
Yeah, getting there. And you're now asking questions to yourself about the you understand the why, but it's now sort of the what and the how. How do you go about doing it? And there's two ways you can do it, basically. I mean, there's a lot, but we'll say two. You could go and try and build your fancy race car, and bells and whistles, goes really fast, and has everything that you can possibly think of. And you might typically call that waterfall in a project management methodology world, where you're going to spend a lot of time talking and figuring out, and a lot of time is going to pass, and you could be like 12 months before you finally got on paper what your race car looks like and what you want to go away and build. And you've given nothing to anybody in that 12 months. You might have put yourself in a shed with just a bunch of people, and you're figuring out as just a bunch of intranet, I don't know what this is, so intranet people.
There's a lot of people that can resonate with that. Even that takeaway of intranets, with that process of how much time are we talking about it, planning it, when things are actually moving.
And changing.
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah.
And, you're not learning from the most important learning space, the people that are actually going to be using it. And quite often you see intranets launched out there 12 months after a lot of conversations gone on, when then you end up with a bunch of critics because you've not involved the people. Everyone's going to tell you what's missing from it, what should have been on it. So when we say build your intranet with a skateboard, is work your way backwards and go, how do we get the quickest, most easiest, most valuable thing out to people that's got four wheels, it moves, it works, it goes. And then over time, you create these feedback loops with the business. You listen to people, you adapt to it, you turn your skateboard into a scooter, you listen, adapt a bit more, you turn your scooter into a bike, go around it again, your bike into a motorbike, your motorbike into a car, And then eventually, in 12 months, you end up with your race car, but you've done two very important things over that 12 months. One, you give something to somebody. You've released something into your organization which can start adding value and enabling people very, very quickly. And number two, you've increased your chances of adoption engagement because you built an intranet with and not given an intranet to. Yeah. You've actually involved them in the creation. You've probably done a lot of various different adoption engagement techniques already, which we'll talk about in another episode. And this is just a recipe for success. And that's what we mean by, build your intranet with a skateboard. Start small and scale fast and build your way out.
Yeah, what I like as well, just to pick up on the skateboards at the start, is that when you typically think about that process, they think, oh, it's just an old broken skateboard. It's not. Like, with the ability to have out the box Microsoft ecosystem, SharePoint, what we've shown on previous episodes, you can get a pretty all singing, all dancing skateboard to look professional. It does all the great position. Some of the things we've shown on previous episodes, they're the skateboard versions. And people are already saying to us that they're like 10 times better than what we've got now. So imagine how we customise. You've got your customised supercar in 18 months' time. They're like, brilliant.
And this is a mistake I've seen a lot of organisations make, where they are focusing too much on the race car, start to go ahead and customise a lot of stuff, spending money, spending a lot of time. And then by the time that's done, it's either not needed or it's not fit for purpose, and it's it just wasn't needed at that time. Whereas just using out of the box, getting started, the out of the box technology is very easy to adapt. Like, literally in minutes, if you can see something not quite right and you're getting information, feedback back from the employees, you can just change that straight away. And that is quite a common pitfall that people make, because they're focusing so much on the whizzy wadget race car.
Very technical terms there.
Whizzy wadget. you can fall into that trap of overthinking almost, and overwhelming as well at the start. So I've always liked it. I've always liked that vision in your skateboard, and it resonates well with people, because once we explain it that way, you do get people actually going, do you know what, that's what we want. We do want to involve everybody with us. We want them to help build the intranet, not you build it, TDL. We want us to build it.
And that's what I like about explaining that, because I say as well that I talk about the next generation of the workforce. Like, your workforce is going to change, and also your business is going to change. So why would you give one thing that's going to take 12, it typically does take 12 months plus, doesn't it, to get everybody in the right rooms, to make the right decisions for this sports car mentality. So, I love it.
Yeah, and when you look at change, and change typically comes from 4 areas. And I've always got this in the back of my mind with intranets and skateboards helping along. And the 4 areas are: user feedback is people are going to give, and this is the best stuff that I like. If you can get really good feedback loops built in, you're going to get people wanting things that they need. The other area is executive change. So you might not have involved any of the executives in the organization, and as soon as it's up and running, they're going to want in. They're going to want to go, we would like to bring visibility, and we have an output that we would like to get. We need to build in a bit of strategy, and we want to inject a bit of executive change within the direction of the intranet, and that's great. Then you've got IT change. So people don't know what they don't know. Like, people, I could probably talk for 30 minutes and tell people a load of stuff with technology they didn't even know was possible. And then they are inspired by that. They see the art of the possible, and then they start to think about how they can use that. And I'm like, great, well, we're going to get you to a motorbike. So there's the IT change. And then around that, the 4th one is the element of unknown. So like COVID. for example. COVID happens, oh crap, everyone's at home, what do we do?
Yeah.
It's these things that can just jump out there, and you need to be able to listen and adapt very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about intranets and the way we go about it, is it sets us up to be able to do that very flexibly and listen to all of these 4 areas of opportunity and change and drive the internet forwards.
Excellent. So, in danger of not being our shortest episode, I think that's a great way to finish. And I think from the audience's perspective, which bit can you resonate with? And have you seen, and again, it doesn't have to be in technology. I speak to a lot of people in the project management space. I speak to a lot of people in construction recently that have said about new technology, new material. And by the time they've talked about it, scaled it, scoped it, it's moved on to something else. So I'm sure we can resonate with that. So we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on a future episode.